something.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is six. My apologies. It's been a while since I've had the show on, but we are live. It is Friday. It is that time for that fantasy show. I'm the prime one. Yes, your boy Ciozi. And next to me, we have the Bill Belichick of fantasy football, Mr. Jovi himself, Mr. Javon Powell. Give it up to him, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hey now. Hey now.
First off, with all love and respect for you winning this season, I give you a hearty middle finger for the simple fact that it should have been me.
Yo,
But
like that shit was so fucking unexpected. Like I literally just got hot like the last few weeks of the regular season. And it was like I was putting up points, but I was getting outscored so many games. So my record wasn't really the greatest. But then when I went and looked back at it, every time I've won, I've had a similar record. So I'll shoot so for future reference, if I'm 8-6 or 9-5, just send me the fucking trophy. I don't know if you know if there's a language thing. I don't know if there's a language thing, but just send me the trophy. Like regular season, if it's 8-6, if Niners since '92 is at 8-5 or 9-6 or any combination thereof, just send me my trophy. Like just send it over. We're wasting time. Just send it to me.
look, we'll see. Look, we'll see about that next year. One thing I definitely want to bring up, like I said, we are talking about post Super Bowl. Let's be real. Did you expect to see what you saw on the Super Bowl?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like it was atrocious, and that's putting it very mildly because they trumped it up as this whole, the whole year, all we heard about was how great Mahomes' interior line was. I mean, we knew that the tackles were cheese, but I didn't expect for them to get beat the way that they did. Like it was, I mean, they won the game up front, and that's something that you don't really see. Like Mahomes was looking like rattled, and they was putting good hits on him too. So once I realized, like, oh yeah, you still kind of got the ankle thing. You still like they want to downplay it all you want. Like he was still not as mobile, but he was still kind of getting out of there. But I think it showed the blueprint on how to beat him. You got to have four that can get home because you can keep that extra person in coverage and make them hold the football that half a second or that 1 second longer to allow that defensive line to eat. And that's what Philly did. Philly just let their defensive line just eat.
True, true. Now, speaking of Philly, they got you got Saquon Barkley, Jaden Day. I'm not Jaden Daniels. Jalen Hurts, um, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You pretty much have your offense locked for a few good years. This is the start of the
And
dynasty for the Eagles.
I don't believe so. I think in the
Um,
NFC, I definitely feel like in the NFC, there's a there's always that parity because just like that, you can look at within their division, the Commanders are threatening. You look across, I mean, you'll have to figure out what Detroit's going to look like as far as with their coaching changes, but the personnel is still there. I mean, sounds like a homer for me, but San Francisco was injury ridden. They're not going to do that 2 years in a row. Now it's interesting to see what free agency and what, who stays and who goes, but like they're going to still be somewhat in the conversation. So, like the NFC, I think it's a lot harder to be dynastic because traditionally the NFC has always been the stronger conference. But I think Philly just doesn't have it on the defensive side of the ball to where, if a team could withstand that front
okay,
four, the linebackers aren't it.
right. Now I do think the teams. Here's my teams that I have that can challenge Philly. Well, right now, my still say the Commanders are on high. You got Commanders, Green Bay,
Hmm.
Minnesota,
Hmm. Uh,
Chicago, Atlanta, and you
uh,
still got Detroit.
uh.
Who on that spot am I missing, or who do you feel as though should be off, and who are you replacing out of that list?
Um, I definitely feel like for the foreseeable future, I think Tampa pretty much has the NFC South sewn up. Um, at least for the next 2 to 3 seasons. We'll see
Especially
what
with
that looks
rumors of
like
them getting
after that.
Tyreek Hill.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if that does come to
So
fruition,
rumor has
then
it Tyreek is instead to Bay.
I mean, yeah, because Baker throw that bitch downfield. Like Baker gonna throw that ball. He gonna throw that football.
So
So
so for fantasy prospect, as you being a GM, we gonna play fantasy football for the NFL. Um, if I'm challenging the Eagles, and we'll put it this way, because you represent San Fran. If you're the GM for the San Fran, who are you picking up? Who you feel is available? Who are you getting?
to contend, to feel like if I have to keep pace with them, then I'm definitely looking at line help. Zach Martin, although he's a little older, he's a good stopgap option as far as shoring up the line because really, which what Philly has shown you throughout the playoffs and really throughout this year is on offense and on defense, you're gonna have to like bring your lunch, and it's going to be a long shift. Pause. As far as it's going to be a tough game. So I don't think the the dire need for San Francisco is really at the skill players. We could probably use another receiver, especially with the rumors of shipping Debo out. But it's really the offensive line. Trent Williams is old. Like our
Yeah.
guards stay hurt. The center was a decent get, but like he's not a game changer. Like the line needs to be addressed on both sides of the football. So you got to build those
Okay.
two up because you got to be able to go up against a six on average. The Phillies line is 6'4", 330. On that's the average.
Okay.
So I mean, so you got to have some guys that's willing to get in there and deal with that type of physicality. So that would be addressed in the line, maybe a receiver. Um, having three solid DBs would help against them, but it's really you're going to have a safety. So matchup wise, I don't really like as constructed because I feel like the Niners are going to lose a couple pieces, but they need to get younger in the secondary. They need to get more depth on the defensive line, and they need actual starting quality offensive linemen. So San Fran's probably
Okay.
about 2 years out.
Now, if you were the Eagles GM, what do you need to repeat?
I'm saying what I need to do to get Max Crosby or fucking Miles Garrett. Like I'm picking that phone up because granted, great story. Brandon Graham came back in time for the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. Like that ship is about to sail if he doesn't retire. Like I haven't seen or heard anything in reference to that yet. But you gotta make sure that you keep them dogs eating up front and you help and you give Miles Garrett the one thing that he's probably never really seen his whole career, and that's a true one-on-one. Because you got to double Jordan Davis, like you gotta double Sweat depending on the down the distance. Like they have guys, and to add another guy that just helps create the matchup, it'll be scary for them. I don't really feel like they have too many other holes. They helped their secondary with the draft this year. If they can keep Bond, that helps solidify the linebacker position. They really need one more because I don't really like Nolan Smith. So it's like they have a complete roster, but I really don't think that they just don't really need anything. And that's what's kind of scary. But again, I don't think that they're unbeatable. You just gotta play your game, and you're gonna
Right.
have to meet them up front.
And let's talk about the Chiefs. I'm not gonna lie, because I look at Mahomes, and I how can I put this? He played like trash. That's one thing we can't admit, and I feel as though it doesn't knock him down for greatness because I've seen Manny go to Super Bowl, win one, next game play like trash. Next time he's in the Super Bowl, play like trash.
Right.
I can't say we've seen Brady play like trash, but he's lost the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now, from this actual standpoint, you feel are the Chiefs done? And if they're done, and if they're not done, what's needed to do to come back?
I don't think they're done. Um, the Chiefs need to find an offensive tackle like as soon as possible because that's what was exposed most in the Super Bowl because they kind of got away from it. They kind of got away with it throughout the season. Like they got to find a way to keep Jawan Taylor off the field because whoever is rushing against him is usually having a good game. And the guy on the left side, I don't even know his name, and that's probably paying homage to how terrible that person is as well. So, like, they need offensive tackle help, and they need another defensive lineman to kind of keep the pressure off of Chris Jones because now Chris Jones is getting these little nicky nacky little injuries. Like, you ain't
Yeah,
gonna tell me his neck wasn't bothering him the entire Super Bowl. Uh, he had a
yeah,
damn knee brace on. Like every year, it's some type of lower body or lower extremity injury, and he's sitting out a couple days. Like I'm mean, sitting out a couple games. So they need to get somebody else to help take that pressure off him on the interior, and you know help spell him, not necessarily replace him, but be able to add some more years onto his, onto his career. Because as it's going right now, he's not going to play past well, he's what 29, 30 now. I don't think he's that old, but he's going to look like he's going to be done by 33, 34 at this rate because his body's just not going to hold up, or he's just going to be a shell of himself going around the league like most of these guys do and just collecting a check until he can't collect a check anymore.
right. Now, Mahomes, me personally, I don't think he's done. Especially when you and to be honestly, the way I look at it, I'm gonna say this because you got key weapons throughout the season.
Right.
You got them healthy in the playoffs. Then they got everybody healthy. Next year, I think it's what is it, Bryce? Was the wide receiver? They
Yeah.
got hurt. He was leading receiver last year. I'm trying to think of something. I think it's like I know it's Bryce or something like that. Let me make sure I got the
Oh,
right name.
you talking about for the Chiefs? I can't think of his name right now,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
know
that tells you how.
Rashi Rice.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice. Yeah, you get him
Yep.
back healthy. Um,
That
Xavier Worthy has
worthy.
proved that he is that downfield back, especially with a Super Bowl record, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Um, Kelsey, we all know Kelsey's in question if he's going to come back or not, depending on how Taylor Swift feels about that.
Right.
And you still have Hollywood Brown, and you still have Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins. And now I
Okay.
feel
So
like to be
he
like
under
when I
contract
look at
still.
this offensively, I say what now?
I said okay. So Hopkins is still under contract.
Right, but he's even said he's coming back. He wants to be back.
Good.
So I do feel as though what's lacking is the running game. So in the draft, they definitely need to get another tight end to complement. I understand we have Gray, and I think we got the other kid, but I still feel as though you might need that one tight end if you can find somebody in free agency that can help with that. Cool. I would definitely look at, and this is just me. Maybe it's the homer in me. I will look at. I hope they decide to draft for Marion Hampton. I'm not gonna lie. Either
Said
the
draft
either
who?
the Chiefs, Omari Hamilton from UNC. Either the Chiefs or the
Oh, the running
Commanders.
back.
I'm hoping one of them get it. Yeah. Because Clyde
Oh yeah.
Edwards-Helaire, I think he's done. You need to get rid of him. Isaiah Pacheco, I'm not taking anything from Pacheco. And then you had I want to say, what is it? West. I'm trying to think.
So I know they cut Clyde Hilaire like right before playoffs. So he's gone. Um, we had Checo looked like his leg was still messed up, or like he was like they was just nursing that lower leg injury, just being a bit more cautious.
Right.
Um, you know, Kareem Hunt, that was a good look, but he's not a long term solution either. So definitely running back. I would even dare say Ollie Gordon because he had a down year, but he was all everybody was talking about before last football season. The running back out of OK State.
True. True.
So I definitely feel like they need a running back, but they have to get some. The NFL is slow.
We lost connection with him. I'm sure he'll be back on it. But yeah, I definitely understand what he's saying. We definitely need. I would say with Kansas City, I would say the running game is something strong that they definitely need. We've seen that we've seen that in the Super Bowl. It wasn't something that was needed. We seen to where I'm not gonna lie, watching the games, it wasn't really about the running game. It was more about the deep field passing. I will say this: Xavier Worthy proved that he is going to be a weapon next year. He's going to be more than a weapon. He's going to be a threat. Especially when he was the only one that scored the only two scores. So I would definitely look at Xavier Worthy being a upcoming threat for this upcoming season. Hopefully, Joby, we can still get him back on. Now, for all you guys, people that do fantasy football, I want, if you have a chance to bring it, let me know, who do you feel was the fantasy MVP? When you did your drafting, who did you feel as though was whether they was on your team or not, when you seen this play, if you had this on your team or if you played against them, you shook your head in shame, pretty much saying, damn, I got to deal with this player. Who was that player? I'm sure you're going to say Saquon Barkley, which I agree. Jamar Chase. I would say was another one. I really couldn't see quarterback wise. I'm not saying there was no real threats. I'll probably say other than Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, we knew that was going to end up happening once he kind of got his rhythm together. Cody, I call him Cody Bo. Joe Burrow, I think, was on a mission. And I would definitely say Mr. MVP. And I think I actually owe JT, if he's listening, I think I actually owe him some type of bet because I think he called it saying he was going to be the MVP. And it was him instead of Saquon Barkley. Sometimes I don't understand this because how do you get – it's like when they say the most offensive player of the year was Saquon Barkley, but you get the MVP to what's his face? The Bills quarterback. So basically, the most outstanding, I guess, offensive player of the year is supposed to be your second place trophy. That's how I look at it. But yeah, if you are listening, let me know who your MVP is. Who was your fantasy? Who was the fantasy MVP? Who was that player that you played that you knew you was going to get a guaranteed win? Or if you lost, you shook your head and said, like, I got to deal with this dude this week. How am I going to get this? How am I going to get this win? Who was that dude this season for you? Also, who was the rising star? Who do you feel as though that next year when you draft, that's somebody that you better look for, or you're definitely looking at getting next year, because next year that squad is definitely going to be that person's going to be definitely a must on your squad. Who is that person? And lastly, who's your buy, Felicia? Who's it that you looking at like, you know what, next year, I'm letting somebody else grab you. I'm going to let somebody else deal with that misery that I had to deal with. Who was that person? My MVP, I'm definitely saying was Saquon Barkley. If you had Barkley on your squad, I'm guaranteeing you won majority of your games. The rising star, I know this is going to sound kind of funny, and people might look at me sideways. I'm going to say Bryce Young. Because after hey, I don't know why I'm forgetting this quarterback's name, but what you say, JT called him the Ginger Ninja, the redheaded revolver. But once he got hurt, he took over. He was more confident. He played, and they started winning more games. So I think, honestly, with this kid, with Bryce Young next season, he's going to have a hell of a season, especially if Carolina makes the right picks. I'm not going to lie. I feel as though Carolina maybe need I think what they're definitely missing a running game, but they're definitely missing that premier wide receiver. I understand they got Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is a good wide receiver, but you need that dynamic wide receiver. That wide receiver that's going to break the roof off their coverage. That wide receiver that you're going to have that threat. That's what I think Carolina's missing. And that's why I feel it's that rising star. Bye, Felicia. I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. If you picked up Aaron Rodgers and you thought that this was going to be something that you were going to at least have a decent game with, hang your head in shame. Hang it. I don't want to hear nothing about, well, he got hurt. No. If you picked up Aaron Rodgers and you thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be the quarterback that you needed for your fantasy football, go to your room, hang your head in shame, and put your head down. So we definitely going to do that. But yeah, that's my bye, Felicia. So yeah, if you have any comments, let me know who your bye, Felicia was, who's your fantasy MVP, and who's the rising star. That person that, you know what, if you have a chance to get him next season, or you grabbing him. So yeah, let us know in the comments who you have for that. Last thing I do want to bring up is they released the Hall of Fame. And with the Hall of Fame, they released the actual inductees. It's only 4 this year. Only 4. Sterling Sharp, well deserved. Eric Allen, well deserved. Jared Allen, well deserved, and Antonio Gates. I'm not going to. Now I do feel as though these 4 are all well deserved, whether it's their first time in the ballot or a few times. But why so small? That's my biggest question right now. Why is the Hall of Fame inductees so small? Because there's a few Hall of Famers out there. There's a few players out there that should be in this Hall of Fame that they're not giving the credits to. And you know what? Yeah, I'm a homer, or I'm gonna call my favorite. One is Donovan McNabb. I'm sorry to say, to me, and this is how I truly feel. If you got something about it, oh well. But I feel as though Donovan McNabb should have been in the Hall of Fame before Michael Vick. Now I'm sure everybody gonna say, well, Michael Vick was electrifying. Michael Vick was this. Michael Vick was that. Michael Vick had one great season, and that was when they went to the actual conference championship, and they didn't go back since. Now I'm sure you're gonna say, well, the Eagles did the same thing. No, the Eagles went 4 times at least. We might not have won them, but we went 4 times each, and we was always a contender in the playoffs when Donovan McNabb was the quarterback. Now, whatever you want to look at. I don't know if you say I don't know if you're comparing stats to say, well, this person, had this many stats. This person had this many stats. This person has this many stats. Also, if you want to be that way, look at the team Donovan McNabb had. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the players like Michael Westbrook. I'm definitely not taking anything from T.O. I'm not taking anything from Freddie Mitchell when he made the fourth quarter catch. I'm not taking anything from, I'm trying to think of the other, like James Thrash. I'm not taking away from players that were, do I feel, role players. You played your role. You did a good job winning games, but you were not the actual threat. Because when it came to the actual championship games and they played the games, the cornerbacks knew how to be learn to be more aggressive. The defensive backs were more aggressive. The line was more aggressive to where they was able to get the nab a little bit easier, and it wasn't no help. So technically, if you want to put it that way, that's how I feel. I do feel Donovan Knapp should be one. I don't know if Warrick Dunn is even in the Hall of Fame yet. If he is, he should be. And I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell someone, Brian Mitchell. Now, if you follow me, I do follow First Stream Podcast. They brought this on too many times, and I definitely feel as though one person that I don't know why y'all keep tiptoeing around it or just find ways to avoid it. I would definitely say, why isn't Brian Mitchell in the Hall of Fame? He said, if you want to say, what position would he play? He was a punt returner, one of the best. So yes, those are. I understand there's probably more people out there that are. What's the word I want to say? I understand there are more people that you're saying they're more talented, have better stats, had a bigger impact in the game. And to me, I hate to say it. And if you want to disagree with me, disagree with me. But I guarantee in the back of your head, you probably say, yeah, he's making a valid point. Brian Mitchell was the person that put the actual special teams on the map. So that's what I'm like. If you want to give us just this small Hall of Fame, those are the people that I feel as though should be added on. But that's here or there. Well, don't have much to talk to in the show. Most of I have JT. I have the loudmouth, run his little thing, but he has to get in shape because eventually the Bears won their 5 games, so he has to run that 40-yard dash. Now, if anybody wants to put any type of bet of how fast he's going to run, please put it in the comments. Whether it's on whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or if you want to email us. But let me know what you feel JT's 40 time is going to be running the 40-yard dash, or if you think he's going to complete the 40-yard dash. If you followed us before in the beginning of the season, he did bet that the Chicago Bears would not win more than 4 games, and they won 5. So a win's a bet's a bet. So he has to run that 40-yard dash. And his brother actually stated that he could outthrow the Tampa Bay quarterback, flat-footed. He threw the ball at least, I want to say 52 yards. Timmons stated that he could actually throw the ball, what was it? I think 63 yards flat-footed. We got to see this. So hopefully we'll be able to do the England Combine to where we all see 2 athletic Englands go and win the gold to prove that they are not a god, but they are a god, not the god, but a god. So this is something that you got to see. I'm gonna cut this short. Other than that, if you like us, please subscribe. Please put comments. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Again, take care of yourselves, and y'all be easy. Peace.